Alrighty. So begin your practice finding both sitting bones, resting into the seat. You're welcome to lean back into your back rest if you like. Just get a sense of lift through the spine, just finding your best posture today with as little holding or tension in your body as possible. So feel free to just take a bit of time to loosen up through the shoulders, the neck. So you can sense where your head is. Try to feel it light and lifted straight up above the shoulders, long through the back of your neck, as well as spacious through the front around the throat. So finding that balance. Feel free to close your eyes or soften the gaze as you shift your attention into your body. Feel how your feet land into the ground. Relaxing through the toes. Feel the weight of your thighs as they settle into the seat. Relaxing back into your hips. Notice how the hands rest, maybe somewhere on your thighs. Feeling the weight of your elbows under your shoulders. That'll help to draw the shoulders a little further down the back, away from the ears. And sense the spaciousness from the breastbone wide out through the collarbones to the shoulders. And start to notice the breath, paying attention to each inhale as it flows into your body. And each exhale as it flows out. And notice where you sense the breath most easily. Could be in the nostrils or around the chest, ribs, or down into the belly. Where does your attention go as you pay attention to the breath? And notice as you pay attention to the breath, how it starts to slow down, moving through your body a little more gradually, perhaps more deeply, moving more slowly. So continue to sense how your body responds to each breath. Noticing the areas that expand and rise as you receive the inhale. And then as you release the exhale, what areas in your body soften a little more, rest back in as you let it all go. So as you continue to pay attention to each inhale and each exhale, start to notice the pauses between each breath. So can you follow the full depth of your inhale? Notice when it reaches the top, when there's that natural pause at the top of your inhale. And then follow the slow length of the exhale. Feel the breath leave your body till it fades away. Follow it right to the end. Notice that natural pause, however small it may be, before your next breath comes in. So our breath cycle is not only an inhale and an exhale, but those natural pauses between the inhale and exhale, and between the exhale and the inhale. So try to be aware of them as you follow a few more cycles of breath, settling your body, resting and relaxing what you can as you're here. Okay, and then let's just little by little start to deepen the inhale a little more. Feeling free to sigh out the exhale through the mouth. You can make any sound you like, drawing that a couple more times. Deeply in through the nose, slowly out through the mouth. And then as you're ready, you can flutter the eyes open. Maybe move a little through the neck, the eyes, the head. So you might look over one shoulder and then the other shoulder, letting your eyes kind of follow the horizon of your space. That's it. And then try to find more of an arc, maybe down and then over to the side. Chin down through center and over to the other side. And just feeling that out. It's nice and easy, slow movements there through the neck, through the eyes. And then if it feels good to find an arc up, you can give that a try. So kind of lifting your gaze and then looking over that shoulder. Lifting your gaze, your chin, just to a comfortable amount, and then looking again over the other shoulder and feel that out. Great, and then if you want to complete that circle, you can go down, over, looking off to one side, up, looking off to the other side. So maybe another in that direction. Finding your own comfortable range. And then feel it out in the other direction, looking over the other shoulder and up, other shoulder and down. That's it. All right. And then bring your head back to center, noticing how that's feeling for you. And then come again now. Let's move more to the front of the seat. All right. So let's, as we sit, let's find a little movement just with our hands here on the thighs. So we can start to slide the hands back, pulling the elbows and the shoulder blades back. Try to lift a little through the front. Belly, chest, and then the gaze again. So you might be looking up a little higher now. And then rounding slowly. So pull in through the belly. Let your shoulders round forward as your hands slide more towards the knees, chin more towards the chest. And keep it going. Slide the hands back, lengthen and lift through belly, through chest, through eyes. And then rounding, pulling in through the front as your chin lowers. And feel out the range through your spine. That feels good. You can start to allow for a little more movement through the pelvis as well. Tipping forward on your sitting bones when we lift the front. So tailbone points more back. And then tipping back on your sitting bones. So tailbone reaches towards knees as you round through the spine. So see if you can sense those motions. Ooh. From pelvis all the way up. Through neck, through head, involving the eyes. Great. And then let's keep it going, but reach the arms forward as you round. So as you're reaching forward, your chest is pulling back, your belly's pulling in. And then we can reach the elbows back. So we're kind of pulling with our arms back, finding a little more of that strength in the upper back, shoulder blades towards each other. So each exhale, we can stretch through the back as we reach forward. And each inhale, pull the arms back, elbows back as we lift through the front. So let's feel that a couple times. That's it. Go at your own pace. Really nice. All right, let's go with one more, and then we're going to switch it up one more time. So when we lift this last time through the front, through the belly and chest, let's open up the arms wide to the sides. They're still kind of reaching back. Then when we round, let's pull the one knee in. So whichever knee you want to start with, hug that knee up towards your chest, belly, however high it gets. And then inhale, lift or stretch the arms back with the feet back to the floor, and then lift the other knee, pulling that knee up as we gently round. And just feel that out. When you pull the knee in, see if you can keep the shoulders from shrugging towards your ears. So looking to find a little more of that roundedness forward rather than shrugging up. So let's try that one more time on each leg. Nice. Good. And then as you breathe in, landing both feet, arms open for the last time here. Then let's come forward so we can take hands or forearms onto those front thighs and release a little more through the upper body. A little more of a stretch perhaps you'll feel into your lower back, mid-back. Notice for yourself where you're sensing that as you pay attention to a couple more breaths here. You're also welcome to slide the hands further down if you like, towards the ankles. Really nice. All right, let's press down through the feet. Slowly start to rise up to sitting tall again. Okay, let's come towards more the corner of the chair. I like to do that as you bring your feet wider apart now. So I'm more to this right side, so we can have the left foot and knee pretty much facing straight ahead, right? And the other out to the side, just as much as, at an angle as your hips comfortably let you. So you might be in more of a shallower V, perfectly fine, or a wider V. Just pay attention to how your knees land in relation to your toes. You want to be able to, keep them right above those heels. So let's find more of a twist now. So we'll just rest the right hand there on that thigh and sweep the left arm across. So we're turning to face that right knee, reaching out. Let's try to keep the shoulders above the hips as we sweep open to the left, following that hand with our eyes, and then closing it up again as we reach more to the right. So feel that out. Finding the twist from the waist up. So we're trying to stay strong and stable from the pelvis down. So there isn't a whole lot of shift there on the sitting bones or even in the knees. Notice if they're moving and see if they can stay right above the heels. Last one, we're going to pause, reaching out to the left. That's it. And just finding your gaze off to that side. Now, if you notice some tension there in the neck, you might turn the head to look to the right for a moment. And then back again to the left for one more breath with it. Okay, now we're going to lean into our right hand or forearm. So resting that arm on your thigh, and then let's just lower this other hand towards that hip. So notice for now what's going on in your upper body. Can you send your ribs and your upper body back a little bit? Yeah, kind of towards the back of the chair there. You got it. Neck is in line with the rest of the spine. As we start to move just this left arm, let's sweep it up. As it comes up, depending on how high you're going with it, let your palm face down towards the floor and then bring the arm back down by your side. Again, palm flips to face the ground. So we're finding those rotations through the shoulder as we lift and lower the arm, trying to maintain that sense of length through the neck. Next time you lift the arm, go as high as feels comfortable to stay, and we're going to pause into it. Feel some breath into that top left side. Beauty. And then take it down through center. Let's come between the knees. So again, the forearms might rest on the thighs and allow for a little wiggle, if you like, into your back. You could also kind of bring shoulder towards opposite knee, just giving the back a little more of a stretch if that's feeling good. Really nice. Okay, then use your feet, push down through your legs as you slowly rise back upright. And then let's take it to the other side. So shifting over towards the other corner of your chair. Finding and feeling both sitting bones landing into the seat. How far apart do the knees feel comfortable, resting right above the heels? So as we stay firm and strong through the legs, let's try again. Keep the shoulders above the hips as we reach across with our right hand. Yeah, facing kind of beyond our left foot, right? And then open out to the right. How far do you twist in this direction? Just take it nice and easy maybe for the first couple, right? Just letting your spine warm up a little bit in these twists with your breath. And you want to go just as far as your spine turns before your pelvis and legs follow. Yeah, notice how you breathe as you move. I like to exhale, moving into the twist, and inhale, coming out. Find what works for you. So let's stay in it. Turning to the right, resting through the shoulders, down the back, away from the ears. We can, we can just take a moment with the right arm stretching out. That's it. Turning the head just as far as the neck comfortably goes. You can stretch the eyes a little bit to look towards your fingertips. You can move the head and the neck in any way that helps to loosen up through there. One more breath with it. So then rest that hand down and take your left forearm or palm onto your front thigh. Try your best not to lean forward with it. So just do your best to keep kind of leaning back, not just with your shoulders and head, but with your back ribs as well. That way you don't arch into your low back. You got it. So then let's find the movement through this right arm. Sweep it up and down. So turning the palm up as the arm stretches overhead, and then sweeping the palm down as the arm lowers. That's it. You got it. Feeling out how this shoulder moves and how this side body feels as we bring a little more stretch into it. So let's stay with that stretch for a few breaths. Find the angle that works for you in your shoulder. Your arm could be over above your shoulder or above your head. Or you could even just keep the hand on the hip and feel some of that space more through the chest. Wherever you are, sense the breath. Fantastic. All right, and then come back down, looking between the feet. We can rest forearms or hands on thighs, or again, if you'd rather go further, you could have the hands sliding down towards the ankles. What feels best in your hips, your thighs, your lower back, for another full breath. Now use the support of your feet. Push down through the legs as you rise up again. Ooh, very good. All right, let's come back to facing forward. And let's go ahead and find a little more movement through our hips, our legs. Yeah, I think let's just do it like this with the arms either along your sides or holding on to the seat of the chair for a little extra support, right? So we're just going to do the march where we push down through the one foot to lift the other. And then lower that foot to lift the other knee. So as you're doing this, see if you can minimize any movement in your upper body. So this might want to happen, one sort of side bend kind of thing, or maybe you notice that you end up rounding when you lift your knee. So see if you're able to stay a little more strong and stable through the center, where ribs are right above those hips. That's it. Shoulders stay above the hips. Head nice and light. And you can feel some of that lift and width of support through the belly. Each time you lift the one knee, push down through the other foot. So this leg that stays on the ground is pretty strong and it's helping you out. Okay, so if you want more challenge, you could take the arms off of your chair. Yep, in whatever position you like. I've got mine out a bit. Okay. And then we're going to try something a wee bit different where we lift the leg and swing it out to the side to lower it. Then we lift it from there to bring it back in. So again, hands can be wherever you like, holding on to the chair for a little more support for your upper body, or even hands together in front of the heart. That can be a nice way to kind of feel the connection with the core in the center of your body a little more. So you're going up and out, and then up and in, and just finding however small or large that step out is on each side without moving your sitting bones. Okay, so pubic bone, navel stays straight ahead. Let's try for one more on each side. Great. And then bring it in and just let the feet come a little wider apart again so we can allow for nice loose movement here through the hips. Yep, so you can roll in and out on your feet as your knees go in and out at your own pace and amount. Okay, great. All right. And then let's see about going, we'll just move through one leg at a time now. So start with this one holding on to the seat of the chair. So you've got your shoulders right above your hips. And then let's go ahead and straighten out that right leg. So we've got the foot, the toes, the knee pointing to the sky. So we have a lot more weight now for this hip to lift, because our leg is straight. So try to lift the leg just as high as you can bring it, feeling that work in the thigh, and then lower it back down. That's it. So still finding that push through your left foot, or whichever the opposite is for you, while you lift and lower into that hip. We're trying to keep the knee as straight as we can, comfortably. So we're moving not so much from knee, but from hip. Woo! Okay, feeling that. Next time, let's try lifting the leg, holding it up. Now, if you want at this point to try letting go of the chair, you can, and find maybe little pulses, lifting and lowering that leg, feeling the work through that front thigh. Fantastic. Then bring it all the way down, heel to the floor, toes and knees still facing the sky, so we can come forward. And we're going to find a deeper fold in that hip while we stretch through the back of the leg. Knee can be a little bent, or, find however the angle that feels like a nice comfortable stretch, not just behind the knee, but through the calf and up into the back of the thigh. Yeah, send the heel away, spread the toes back. Beauty. And then make your way back upright. Land that foot to the floor, and again, you might just loosen up maybe a little more just through that right leg, swinging in, swinging out. Yeah, and pausing wherever you're feeling, it's a nice stretch. Or massaging with your hand into where you felt that work. So for me, it was pretty close to my hip, into those front thigh muscles. All right. Find both sitting bones again, planted, hands supporting you if you like, holding the chair. So you can straighten out your left leg. So you already might notice a nice stretch through that calf as we send toes up towards the sky. So then can we keep the knee as straight as we can when we lift the leg any amount and then lower it back down. So noticing how your leg works on this side and finding your breath along the way. Trying to notice that little pause again, right at the top, whatever the top is for you, right before you slowly release the foot again. So find those brief pauses. Great. And then we're going to pause and hold. So how high does this leg stay off the ground? You decide. Maybe you let go with the arms stretching out. And then you could try to find a small pulse, just a tiny lift and lower, as you breathe. Yeah, lower the heel. Good work. Stretch through the back of that leg. So even with the knee a bit bent, you can push through the heel, pull the toes back, and feel another breath or two there. Okay, come on back upright. And again, you might bring that left foot out to the side and roll in and out on the edge of the foot as the knee goes out and in. Great. Rubbing, massaging into any areas you felt quite a lot of work there through those front thigh muscles or back up into the hip. Okay, so then let's practice some kind of sit to stand / squat moves. So walk the feet in a bit closer, almost as much underneath you as your ankles let you, right? And knees, right? So you want to stand into heels. You don't want to let them lift just yet. Toes are down. Knees are pointing with the toes. So find the angles for yourself. Wider, narrower, turned out, forward, And then, can you feel the lift and length through the upper body as you rock back and forth? We're trying to find the movement from the hips, not so much from the spine, right? When we lean forward, try not to let your chest and head look down. So we want to keep that lifted, reaching in front. That's it. Then if you want, you could let the arms kind of swing forward, pushing more into your feet. You might find more of a bounce off your seat. That's it. Nice. Repositioning the feet as you need, as you find, the sweet spot where you feel strong. Pushing down, you might come all the way up, straightening the legs, and then try to go all the way down, slowly pushing the hips back, letting the knees bend, sitting into the seat again. That's it. So you can go at your own pace, finding that full seat before you come up, or you could go for kind of like a squat just till you touch the chair, then rise again. So that means the legs are kind of always working. So find what you can do today, whether you're coming all the way down for a pause or just sticking with the bounces, or going all the way up and all the way down till you touch to lift again. So maybe one or two more. You got it. So maybe this next one, when you're ready for it, could you hover? Hover just barely off the chair. Stay as low as you can in that bit of a chair squat. Chest wide to the space in front for one last breath. Whoo, pushing into the feet, rise to sitting. Good work. Yeah, a little hot, a little heat. Working into those big muscles, glutes, thighs. They warm us up quick. So just allow for a little free movement in the hips, side to side. This is a nice way to just bring a bit of space into those glutes. You could go into more of a circle with the hips leading, circling any size, what feels best in your hips. Good, and then you might circle the other way a couple times. All right. Okay. Let's stand with our right side to the chair, like so. Okay? I'm just going to move my chair a little this way. So we're going to try to bring the foot up onto the seat of the chair. So if you know that that is too high for you, for whatever reason, whether hips, knees, ankles, then come closer to something that's lower, whether you've got a lower table, a stool, a bench, whatever it is. And you'll probably want something you can hold on to as well, just for your balance. So we're going to stand into our left foot while we lift our right. So I'm holding on with my hand here on the back of the chair. I'm standing pretty close, parallel to the back of my chair as I'm going to bring my foot here. So you don't want it behind you, You want it more in front and beside you, your chair. Okay? So get all that organized. Find your mountain pose. And let's just begin again. It's similar to what we did, the knee raise. So standing into your left foot, can you simply lift your right knee, any amount, and then lower it down? Yeah, so we're having to ask the hip to do a little more to lift the foot higher because we're standing. Raising it up and bringing it down. Okay? And as you raise it up, can we pause there? And you're welcome to, use your hand to help you out to bring the foot over. Now, we're just going to keep moving a bit. Try to push more into your left foot. Find that support through the belly. You can push into this hand too. That'll help to lift the foot and plant it back to the floor. Okay? So we're finding a bit of that swing in the hip. First, lifting the knee up as high as it can come. Use your hand as you need to bring the foot over and down onto your chair, your whatever you've got. And then take your time. Find where you're supported. Push down through left foot, through maybe right hand to lift that right foot up and plant it down. Okay? So the last one, we're going to keep it there. So take your time, try to push down through the one leg that's still standing while you lift the other knee, and then swing it out to the side to plant the foot to the chair, the table, whatever you've got. Whew. And just take a pause. Shoulders are above the hips. Hips are pretty much kind of in the center between the feet. So let's just see about getting a little bend into that knee. So we kind of move our body towards our right foot and then back over our left foot. So we're feeling these movements into our hips and into this knee and ankle. Yeah. All right. Okay, and then find and feel support through both legs. So yes, most of the weight's in this leg that's on the floor, the foot, but you're also feeling the support into that foot that's up. Now let's send some length through that left side. Lift the left arm at whatever height you like, and then just go for a nice arc. Let's get into the side body again. Push down into the foot that you're stretching up away from. That's it. Feel what you feel with each breath here. So I've got my right hand still on the chair. You could also have it on your front thigh if you like. Right thigh. Great, and then bring it on up again, slowly letting that arm come down. Take your time to come out of it. So first, find the support in your standing leg. Maybe down into that right hand before you lift the foot to lower it back to the floor. And then, quite a change in each leg. So just go for a little walk around your space and sense those changes through each side. So we found a little more space in our inner thigh on the foot, the leg that was up a little higher. We certainly found some strength and support through the standing leg and a little bit more space in the front of that hip as well. That's where I'm feeling it. Okay, so let's feel it out on the other side. So I've just moved my chair a little bit so I can stand beside it. I'm going to actually bring it a little even further forward so I'm standing almost slightly behind my chair this time. Yeah. So take a moment, feel the support of both of your feet under your hips, shoulders above, head light to the sky. Left hand on that chair for support as you like. So this time, let's stand into our right foot, probably a little too far, and then lift the left knee just straight up and straight down. So noticing how this hip's moving to lift your foot just as high as it comes, right? So the chair is rather high, I know. So if it's like, no, this isn't working, it's too high, come towards something lower. A stool works great, a bench, coffee table, anything like that, okay? Couple blocks stacked is also a great option, right? So, now when we lift our knee, can we swing it out and step the foot onto our chair? Use your hand if you need to, kind of, support the thigh and then lower it back down, right? So when we lift, we're trying to swing through the hip to land the foot onto your support. And then in order to lift that foot again, we need to find the support into our standing leg, into that glute. Whoo, that's it. So feel it out, maybe this is the last one with movement. Really good. We're bringing a bit of strength into that hip flexor, which is usually pretty both tight and weak on most of us. So we're getting a little strength into it. As we also stretch, right? We're stretching the hip flexor on this side, strengthening it on the bent side. So land your foot to your support. Find the angle, right, where your knee and your toe still point in the same direction. And then you can start to just allow for a little more of a bend in that knee and then back. So we're kind of moving towards the left foot and then back over the right foot. And the whole body moves together. So we're not just moving the upper body, but letting the hips come with us to feel that front knee bend. Whew, just as much as feels good in your body. Very good. And then find where you feel strong, stable as best you can through each leg. Of course, that right leg's doing a little more. Send the right arm up to your own comfortable height. And then as you push down through that right foot, can you feel like you're lifting up before you come over to that left side? Just enough to feel a little more space through the right side. Feel each breath come. Feel each breath go. Good. Bring it on up again, lowering the arm. And then take your time. Push into your right foot. Push into your left hand if you need. Lift the foot up to bring it back down. Oh, yeah. Walk around your space. Check in with how each hip feels. All right. Now let's stand facing the back of the chair. So you can have the back of the chair there for your hands to rest on as needed. So that let's go ahead and step our right foot back. So we have our left foot forward, knee bent, right foot behind us. So we're in kind of a standing lunge or warrior one. So get positioned where I've got my front toes just slightly under the back of that chair. And positioning your back foot so it's facing as forward as it can stay with your back heel down. All right, so let's find the front knee bent for now and feel a bit of space, even more, right, through the front of that right hip. So I'm actually realizing I need to bring my left foot a little further away from the chair because what we're going to do is balance on that left foot. So I've just walked my left foot back away from the chair a little more so that as I step into that front foot, my back heel lifts and then I can bend the back knee and pull that back heel towards the glute. Great. And then land the toes again and land the back heel, front knee bends. Okay? So find your balance, slowly lifting into that front foot, trying to keep the knee, the back knee, behind or at least under the hip when you bend it. So you're trying to prevent it from coming forward just as much as your hip lets you. And then land it again. Okay? So feel that out. You can go for less weight on the hands if you want a little more challenge with the balance. You could also send the arms overhead or even just one arm, right? Either overhead or straight ahead or out to the side, any of those. So next time we come into the balance, let's hold that balance. Whew. So can we feel like we're really trying to pull the heel towards the buttock? This is going to strengthen those hamstrings. Try to imagine the knee reaching down towards the ground under that hip. That's it. And feel that for one more breath. If you want to challenge your balance, you could just hover your hands or send them out or up. Whew, really nice. And then lower, oh yeah, feet to the floor. So hamstrings, glutes, did they turn on a little? Let's come back with our feet. Hands can stay right on the back of the chair so we can send the hips back. So they're landing right over the feet. My knees are a bit bent as I find this half downward dog. Okay, so let's enjoy some stretch here. Really nice. Let's walk it in. Walk the feet in. Yeah, so you might keep the right foot now just a little behind your chair. Step your left foot back. Great. So let's just feel the support through both feet to begin with. Front knee can start bent, back leg straight, heel to the floor, everything still facing forward. And then how does it feel to shift your weight into your front foot, lifting slowly off back foot? You get that nice movement through the toe joints. And then you try lifting heel towards glute. That's it. And then land your toes, land your back heel. So we get that movement through knee, through ankle, through toe joints as we move through it. So you could try having a little less weight on your hands, whether you're keeping maybe just one or two fingers there for a little stability, or letting the arms lift completely, your choice. Great. And each time you bend that knee, you're trying not to let it swing forward. So we're trying to keep the knee kind of pointing straight down as the heel bends or pulls in. Last one, let's pause. Okay, so we're in our balance, pulling the heel towards the buttock. See if you can sense a little more of the lift and width through the belly so your tailbone stays as heavy as it can down towards the ground. And then you might try, maybe one hand lifts, staying with that, or lifting the other arm as well within your balance. Really good. Lower the feet. Now, if you want a slightly deeper downward dog, you can move your chair so the seat is facing you. Hands to the seat of the chair, or staying with the hands on the back of the chair to walk the feet back again into your downward dog, right? Yeah, so sensing hips reaching back right above the feet as your head lengthens forward, long in the neck. Now we have length through both sides, from hips through to shoulders, out even into the palms. Notice each breath as it comes and goes. Okay, and then walk the feet forward. So we're in table, shoulders. So I'd suggest taking the hands down to the seat of the chair for this. And your hips are above the feet. So we're going to keep our shoulders above our hands, but walk our feet wider apart. Okay? So you decide how wide they go. What matters is you still have those baby toe sides of feet into the floor as much as big toe sides. So you might feel that as a nice stretch through the outer ankles as well as inner thighs. And then let's keep the left hand pressing into the seat. So you might bring it more into the center of the chair and sweep the right arm out and then find a bit of a twist. Yeah. So we can let the twist come through the hips as well. So the one hip's going to come higher, the other dips lower to find that nice opening to the right. Let's breathe into it. Really good. Finding lots of space today through the sides into the chest. And then bring it on down through center and switch. So right hand more into the center of the chair. Left arm can sweep out and we find the twist. So let the twist come through the hips as much as your hips let you. So the one hip's going to come higher as we turn in that direction. And the left arm can stretch out, or if it feels more comfortable just on the hip, go for that. Wherever you are, sense your breath. And then coming down again through center, staying where you are. You might take your hands lower, right? Maybe you're coming, if you like, on your forearms on the seat of the chair. If you're like, no, that's too much, stay up on your hands. But if you like, you can come forward, or if you've got rungs on your chair, that's also a nice thing. You can bring your hands to a little under the seat. Yeah, so enjoy a little more stretch there, through legs, through back, with each breath. Really nice. And then walk your hands back up onto the seat of the chair, pushing into that so you're strong through the upper body. And then we can just walk the feet in. So heel toe it back in to center. Okay, so back into your table shape. And then lean back more into your feet. A little more weight to the heels. So we can bend our knees, send the hips down and back, find your chair pose again. Imagine the chair is now behind you, your chest facing the back of the chair. Hands can stay on the chair, or maybe they come together in front of the heart, or you could even lift them overhead if you like. Feeling what you can do or would like to do today in your practice. Fantastic. Okay, bring it on up. Let's lift the arms. Reach up tall. Oh, lowering them when you're ready. Notice how that's all feeling in your body today. Okay, great. So I think we're going to have a seat again to once again find a bit of space through the fronts of our hips and front thighs. So I'm going to bring a little padding again onto my chair. Okay, so as we sit, let's pivot so that our knees face to the right. And then we're going to lean back or sit back onto the chair a little more so that not much of your left leg or hip even is on the seat. So you want to have your right sitting bone, right thigh onto the chair. Hopefully your foot is still able to be on the ground. Otherwise, you can bring a little something under it, whether it's a block or even just a blanket, or I've got a little eye pillow I can kind of press into. So with that right knee facing ahead, let's bring the right forearm onto the back of the chair for some support here. The other hand can come onto the seat. So we can step left foot behind. So can we come onto the toes of that back foot? Heel reaching back. So now again, this knee is trying to point as much down towards the floor as your hip lets you, okay? So it's okay if your knee is in front of the hip. Find the angle that works for you. So you might even just find a bit of that movement, right? So I'm rolling towards the tips of my toes to bring the knee forward, and then I'm pushing back through the heel to bring the knee back. So this will move from the hips. You can feel out, what best angle is best for you? And then pause into it, okay? So feel the push down through right foot, rest into right shoulder, right sitting bone. Let's lift the left arm. Lift up. Feel like your left knee reaches towards the floor while your left arm, left shoulder lift towards the sky. So first you can lift straight up and maybe just send a little lift through the front as well. That's it. And this might be great, just staying in more of like extension and back bend lift. Or you might take it more to the side, so towards the back of the chair. That's it. So you can feel all that space again in your side body. Or simply stay upright. What's feeling best for you? Where do you need it? For 1 or 2 more breaths here. Fantastic. Bring it on up again, lowering the arm. I like to hold the seat of the chair, step the left foot in to bring it to the other side. Okay? So walking, knees to the left. So now left knee is going to stay pointing straight ahead. And we want to sit back so the thigh is supported by the seat. Your left sitting bone is definitely on the seat, but the right one's probably a little off. So you want to be more towards the front of the seat. Maybe you need a little something under your foot so it doesn't lift off the ground, depending on your height and the height of your chair. So just take a moment, support yourself. Left forearm on back of chair, right hand on the seat, stepping back just as much as this hip lets you. So you've got your left foot back, your toes curled under. It's a nice stretch for those toes. And then maybe just find a bit of a swing through the hip, right? So you come towards the tips of your toes, swinging the knee forward, and then pushing back through the heel, swinging the knee back. So a little movement through ankle, through toe joints, as well as that hip. Feel out the position that you want to pause into. And let's be here. Sending the right arm up. As the right knee reaches straight down, find first the lift straight up through spine, through right arm. And then if you want, you can stay there or take it more to the side. So you're stretching and leaning just a little towards the back of the chair now. Let's breathe into it. Okay, bring it on back through center. Yep, hand can hold the front of the seat to step right foot in. I know. And then, we can come back to center. And it's time to rest. So you might check in with those hips, a little movement, a little butterfly flutter of those knees if you like, in and out. And then feel free to come all the way back to the back of your chair. So as you lean into your backrest, your shoulders are still right above the hips. So find that as best you can. Noticing how the hips are feeling. We did quite a bit of work in them today. We also found quite a lot of space around the ribs, upper back, sides. So allow for a little more softness to come again through hands, through shoulders. Feel your head balanced on top of your spine. And pay attention to each breath. Can you once again sense those stages of the breath, the phases of movement, the inhale, the brief pause, the exhale, and another brief pause. And then once again, start to slowly deepen your inhales. Feeling free to sigh out the exhales through the mouth. And then letting the eyes flutter open as you start to find more movement here through fingers, toes, which we didn't do much of today, so that feels good. All right. And then you might take one last full circle of a breath, lifting the arms with the inhale, bringing it back in with the exhale, hands coming together, resting in front of the heart. And thank you all for joining me today. Give yourself thanks for taking the time to be present with your body and your breath. Bowing down to your practice today. Oh,